The Complaining Nomad. Traveling can suck.
Alrighty, today's guest. It's Australia's answer to Lance Armstrong, but he still has 2 testicles. Adam, welcome.
And take a little bit less drugs. Just only mildly. Yeah, thank you very much.
Welcome to The Complaining Nomad.
Yeah, that's good. I'm very glad to be here. I have lots of complaints and I'm pretty nomadic, so yeah.
So tell us a bit about yourself. Where you're from, how long you've been traveling for?
Yeah, well, I'm 24 and God, I don't know. I've been traveling since I was young in different ways, to be honest, like going away with family a fair bit, but been doing solo travel since probably about 18, on and off, through different ways, but more and more as time goes along. I feel like as I get older, I see the value in it more and more and keep at it. But from Melbourne and just sort of living the unemployed bumming life in New Zealand currently, but eyes on South America or Europe next.
Awesome. Now you are part-time engineer, part-time cyclist, part-time DJ, part-time traveller. Did I miss anything?
That's about it. That's the main ones, I guess. Yeah.
But to talk about cycling, you have just done something pretty awesome. In fact, very, very awesome. I'll let you explain it, because if people don't really know too much about the logistics of New Zealand, then it might not seem as cool as it is just saying how many Ks. But yeah, tell us about what you just did.
Well, I just arrived here. It's extra good to be here because I've just been on the road for 4.5 weeks. There's this mass migration from Queenstown all the way up to Mount Maunganui, which is in the North Island. And Queenstown's down south. Queenstown's very alpine sort of vibes, and Mount Maunganui is very sort of beach, even sort of like, subtropical nearly. And lots of people doing this migration in van and that sort of thing. And I sort of posed myself to challenge to see whether I could do it via bicycle. So I took 4.5 weeks. Sort of strapped everything to my bike and sort of camped and rode my way up here, over the course of 2,006 kilometres and 32 days, which is an awesome challenge. Super sort of liberating and just fun, to be honest. Like, it's a sort of a cool lifestyle change to get out there and do something different, and it makes you feel sort of more grateful for all the things you have back at home and that sort of shit. So yeah, it's a cool experience, man.
I mean, 2,000 Ks is, it's hard to kind of get my head around that. I mean, we took 5 weeks in our van doing the South Island, heading up to the north, and each time I was thinking, Adam's doing this on his bike. to just do that, with a tent, and you used to have so you're putting a hammock up on trees. It's definitely really, really special. I think you should be proud of what you did, because not many people could do that, and you smashed it by about 3 weeks of what you said that you wanted to do it in.
So I appreciate it. Yeah.
The Complaining Nomad. Traveling can suck.
So you've got a story for us.
I do have a story for you, and this was, I guess, the start. One of the first bits of solo traveling. Actually, it was the first bit of solo traveling, which was before the first bit of solo traveling, in fact, of my solo traveling career. But yeah, it was to do with when I was 18. So it was a good 6 years ago now. Seems like a long time, I guess. But I had gone to Japan, and a bit of backstory. I have some Japanese sort of step family, and some Japanese, which is some of the only family on that side now. So I've been lucky enough to go to Japan in total like 5 times now, and I've sort of studied Japanese at school a bit and that sort of stuff. And before I was 18, I'd actually been twice, and so I sort of knew it a bit. And then after high school, me and 3 of my best mates at the time went over there. So sort of like after school is, so sort of as a reward. Yeah, we're finishing. Let's go. Drink some cheap Japanese piss and fuck around in the snow for a while. So that's what we did.
That's what you do at 18.
Yeah. So I had 2 weeks over there with these 3 mates, Joe, Arnold, and Phil, and then 2 weeks by myself afterwards. And so we went to Hakuba in the snow, which is just sort of snow central, and it's bombarded with Aussies every year who just shred the slopes and drink them dry of all their beer. But the slopes are full of Aussies. Pre-warning as well. I don't think you're going to get there and it's going to be this cultural experience within the snow, because it's not. No. Like, it's not at all.
Been to Canada, same thing.
Yeah. And I think the only Japanese person was the chef in the hostel. It's like 60 people in this sort of like a hostel lodge thing. And literally everyone is Aussie besides the chef. I'm like, fucking hell, how's this for a true cultural experience?
Did he cook some good food for you?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
he did. To be fair,
just doing his job properly.
Got all that cultural understanding to the food. But we were there, and And my mates were different characters, but Phil's definitely a character. He's a funny bloke. He's a bit of a reckless bloke, but he's a funny cunt. It was Australia Day, right? Because it was January or something like that. January 26th, I think, Australia Day. I can't really remember. But it's Australia Day, and it was going to be very rowdy. And earlier, we had heard of somewhere that we could buy fireworks, right? As every good story starts with. So we ended up venturing out to go buy some fireworks. And the same fireworks shop had a BB gun shooting range. And we're like, fuck yeah. So you pay your $10, whatever it is, and you just get these like rifles and these pistols and sort of stuff. You're blasting these targets. And we bought some fireworks, we bought some roving candles and this different stuff. When we get back to the hostel, and it's just nuts because it's just Australians, you know, it's just Australian hooligans in the snow with like half price piss. So what do you expect?
And a bunch of fireworks.
And a bunch of fireworks. What could go wrong? But everyone's getting on it and that sort of stuff, having such a mint time. And then, you know, it gets later on in the night and everyone's getting really sloppy, and we end up going out, and then someone reminds us that we have the fireworks. So we go out to the snowfield at the back. And so it's a sort of 3-story, quite a large lodge in this like really snowy town. Like the snowfields have like half a meter, like a meter of snow, like just base. And then this sort of hostel's overlooking this massive snowfield from the back, and everyone's out there and we're cycling the fireworks going. It starts off with people sitting off the ones just, you know, going to the air, and we're like, fuck yeah. And then it's just sort of, you know, everyone's having a good time. And then, you know, so slowly but surely someone points it towards someone, and someone's like, oh, you know, and everyone's laughing, and there's, you know, about a dozen of us at least or something like that. And then, you know, so, you know, mates are starting to shoot each other, and then it just turns out into full blown warfare with these Roman candles. Everyone's just firing these fireworks at each other and, you know, screaming and gallivanting around, just doing dumb things, as you do when you're 18. That's my excuse.
You do that now, though.
I would do that. You know me too well.
I do.
So I was trying to pass it off with your listeners who
It
don't
sounds
know
like
me
one of
well,
your nights in Queenstown a couple of months ago.
No, a bit harsh. But nonetheless, and so we're fucking around with these fireworks for ages. And then actually at one point, this isn't even the story, but at one point, I remember getting hit in the forehead with a Roman candle. We're all fucking around for a good while, and then I realized Phil's gone for a little bit, and he's gone for like, you know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And Phil's the sort of guy who's it's never that good when Phil goes away for 5-10 minutes and you don't know where he is and you're all on a sesh. You know what I mean?
One
It's
of
that
those
sort
mates.
of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, you know, like that sort of, it's a red flag, you know. And then we're still fighting with fireworks, shooting with each other, and everyone's just having a good time, and everyone's just like, you know, smiling, laughing, trying to fuck each other up. Phil appears on the balcony, which is overlooking the snowfields on the back of the hostel, back of the lodge. And we're all fighting each other. And out comes Phil with the sort of the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 trigger finger with the BB gun that he bought from the shop that we were at. So it starts raining down, and everyone's like, did you do my thing? And I was like, oh, fuck. And, you know, sort of hitting your clothes and stuff. And it's about, I don't know, 20 meters away or something like that. So it's not like, it's not hurting. We're wearing big jackets and stuff too, so it's not really hurting, you know what I mean? And so, you know, for a few minutes and stuff, it's fine, and we're all fucking laughing and stuff and just having a sick time, and I'm just mouth wide open and fucking laughing and just having the best time. And then I just feel this sensation on my tooth. And I don't know if you've ever sort of been studying and you felt the feeling where you ever get like a 4 pen or something like that, you know, the ones with the 4 things, and you sort of clicked it onto your tooth. I don't know if you've ever done that.
I know
and
exactly
you feel that sort
what
of
you
like
mean.
that smack on your tooth. Yeah. Imagine that, but like times like 50. You know what I mean? That exact same sort of sharp, you know, instant sensation on your tooth. And it didn't hurt as much as what you would think, to be honest. But it just felt like that, like a quick, like someone flicked your tooth with something like hard. And I was like, oh, what the fuck's that? And I was trying to feel my tooth and that sort of stuff, make sure it was all fine. And I wasn't really convinced, but it didn't hurt that much, but I was probably pissed. And I grabbed some random who was still in the snowfields. Everyone's still fucking around with these fireworks. Grabbed this random, like, man, please just look at my, like, there's no mirror, you know, it's dark at night. I'm like, just look at my mouth. There's everything fine. I'm just grabbing this random by the shoulders, and he just looks me dead in the eyes, and just this smile from all the fun we're having just slowly sort of fades. The blood slowly sort of fades from his face. I can see it in slow-mo. His face changes colour a little bit. And that's something like, oh, fuck.
Don't tell me the tooth's gone.
The tooth's gone, man.
Oh,
and I've got probably about a quarter of it left or so. And it's just, so to put it in picture, it's not my 2 front teeth, but it's the one directly adjacent to my right front tooth. And so it's this one right here. And
So is that fake now?
that's fake. It's
Really?
completely fake. Yeah, I've got a gold little post under it. I've got no nerve in it. But when I felt this flick in my tooth, it really didn't hurt. And I'm not saying it's being a man or anything like that. It just actually didn't hurt that much. I think it was like such a clean snap. And then me and these 14 other people in the snowfield searching for a tooth deep in this Japanese snow in Australia Day, late at night. There's still some fireworks going in the background, trying to light up our vision to search for this tooth in the snow. So that was a fucking...
Did you find the tooth?
No. God,
Never found the tooth?
No way, man. It was just in this white snow for a white tooth late at night and that sort of
So
stuff.
how long were you without a tooth for?
Too long, but even a couple of days is too long. But the thing is that, so we couldn't find a tooth, and I had travel insurance, but it meant nothing because travel insurance is good, right? For all your listeners who are travelers and that sort of stuff, probably get travel
Definitely
insurance. Definitely get it, all right? We think differently about that sort of stuff. But insurance can also be a fucking scam, you know what I mean? And it's like, you think you're covered sort of stuff, but even though I got my tooth completely shot out, they didn't classify it as an emergency. And my thing only covered emergency dental. So I guess one thing to say is if you're looking to do this sort of stuff, know what your thing covers and know what it doesn't cover.
Yeah.
But, the business that insurance companies are in and trying not to pay you.
I mean, emergency dental, you could have got your mate to fire a few more bullets at you. take the rest of your teeth out.
Yeah, well, maybe that's true.
That would have been an emergency
after
true.
that. At what point do you classify it? But I claimed, because the thing was I was 18 at the time, you know what I mean? And my mum knew this friend of mine really quite well. I ended up just saying to my parents that I'd slipped over on the way back from the convenience store, right, on the ice in the back of my mouth or something like that. And so I hope this podcast doesn't get too big because...
Well, the funny thing is that I think every podcast I'm going to do, at some point someone's going to go, my parents don't know about this.
Yeah, and that's so true. Yeah, such a recurring thing.
Exactly. It's the stuff that you don't want to tell your parents. But
that's exactly
funny thing about travellers is we'll go out and spend, $50 to $100 a night on booze, a night out in Queenstown.
Yeah.
When it comes to paying travel insurance for $15 a month.
Yeah.
It's a bit too steep.
Priorities, right?
I mean, you never need it, but then when you need it, you really need it.
I had 2 weeks solo travel after that, and then I went back to Tokyo and waved goodbye to my mates, and then I was there, and so I had finished high school doing Japanese. I'd been to Japan a few times before, so I was really keen to practice my Japanese. Then I was there by myself in fucking Tokyo, this 6'2" gangly white guys with this broken Japanese. Now with one missing tooth. And I was rocking up to bars, trying to chat to people and trying to say hi to chicks and trying to do this stuff. And all meanwhile, I was just I couldn't stand up more in Japan. Not only was I 1.5 feet taller than everyone with semi-blonde hair, but I also had a missing tooth. I looked like some sort of cartoon character in the Japanese landscape. So that was that was the Japanese tooth incident. But since then, it's panned out all right. I've gotten it fixed at some point in time, and no hard feelings, that sort of stuff.
And it's a great story to tell.
And it's a great story to tell. That is the thing, with these travel stories, which I'm sure there's a common thread between all the stories people tell you too, is that afterwards, it's a great story to tell.
It is.
And I think that, if I were to, I don't know, everyone goes through these issues when traveling, you know what I mean? Because traveling is inherently going through unknown stuff, and it's just such a catalyst, for everything. You know what I mean? It's a catalyst for meeting people. It's a catalyst for new experiences, which is the great parts of it, and for experiencing the world and sort of stuff. But inherently, you open yourself up to things which can come along the way. You know what I mean? Sort of bad scenarios or tricky scenarios, or
But it's the stuff that we sometimes don't want to talk about, isn't it?
I guess, yeah. But I think it's also what breeds the personal growth aspect of travel too. You know what I mean? It's if you're just at home and you're just playing World of Warcraft in your basement and stuff, sure, you might not get your tooth shot out with a BB gun while playing fireworks in Japan. Granted, that might not happen, okay? But you're not gonna learn another language. You're not gonna experience another culture. You're not gonna meet the dozens of friends. You're not gonna have those memories which are gonna last you your whole life. So it's something you take in your stride. And I think it's about how you react to it and how you try to deal with your sort of subjective approach to what the object is going on around you, which really matters. And I think this is something which is sort of exemplified the most in solo travel, because you can't rely on anyone or get distracted by anyone else. And you just sort of realize that it's just you and your mind, you know? So if you can try to get better at controlling how your mind responds to things and trying to, you know, keep up a positive mindset, react to things positively and sort of just put yourself out there and that sort of stuff, then sort of it really does just breed fantastic opportunities. And even bad things which happen to come along the way, which are inevitable in life, let alone travel, don't seem that big of a deal and are just a necessary thing to take in your stride, I think.
And you're huge on solo traveling. You really believe in that. And when I first started traveling, it was something that didn't really appeal to me. And then, you know, as you go along, you do think more about solo traveling. And I do think it's really important, especially when you are, you know, 18, 19, you're going traveling for the first time. I think you learn so much more by doing it on your own than going with a group of people who might not have the same, you know, aspirations for what you want to do whilst you're there. And, I think you're so big on that.
It's just one of those things which just puts yourself out there more. It's sort of like a more intense. I think the highs are higher and the lows are lower.
The complaining nomad. Traveling can suck.
You got a last bit of advice for us?
I think that's it, man. I think it's just about taking that first step. I think a lot of people get caught up on that first step. I think you have to realize how much is sort of out there, and you just have to take the effort to force yourself out of the bubble. Because if you're not forcing yourself out of your bubble, you're admitting to yourself you're happy to stay contained and only see pictures of things. But when you put yourself out there and experience things firsthand, it's so much more vivid, so much more real, and you actually gain an understanding, you know what I mean? To be in different places in the world, so much might not be as privileged or lucky as we are. It's such a different thing to just hearing about it, you know what I mean? And I think that changes your outlook on life and maybe what your, you know, passions or sort of priorities are and that sort of stuff too. So I think to get yourself out there and just to, as I said, just to get amongst it.
You have to try it once, even if you go to Bali for a month and, you know, go on a surf trip or go with your mates, not just a weekend or a week holiday. You just have to try it once. That's,
I think so. I think try it. And the other thing would just be to be mindful of sort of trying to keep your mind in a good state and realize that sort of this back and forth relationship with your mind, which I think is an interesting context to explore in when solo traveling, because it is just you and your mind. You know what I mean? You could choose to be like, oh, everything's so different and this sort of stuff, I'm just going to stay in my room and not talk to anyone and stuff. But if you realize that, hey, ultimately, if I try to make an effort to, you know, maybe go, you know, start a chat with this guy or to go to explore the city by myself or do anything like this, you open yourself up. I think that's the sort of thing, putting yourself out there to be vulnerable and opening yourself up. That's what sort of gives you that in to these new experiences. But yeah.
Completely right. So I got one more question for you. Mm-hmm. Would you rather lose the rest of your teeth to a BB gun? Or have the one testicle?
Or have one testy? God, can I replace my teeth afterwards with false teeth? Can I get like a denture I can pull out or something? Like,
no, it's losing the teeth, or the one testicle, like Lance.
Does the one nut function? Can I?
And you can still cycle. I think Lance did pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, I can, but can I, you know, produce
you
children?
Still dope.
Is one nut enough to
you
do
can,
it?
Yeah,
I can?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd go the one nut.
But would you find anybody with no teeth? So, probably makes sense. Probably agree with you there.
Yeah. Well, sorted then. There we are.
There you go.
One nut man.
It's a great word of advice from Adam. Thanks, mate.
Right,
Thanks
man.
for coming on.
Pleasure, man. It's been great.
Thanks, dude.
Stuff.
The complaining nomad. Traveling can suck.